Welcome back. All right. We are here for the Between Darkened Mirrors, episode 3. So, a lot got done last time, if I remember correctly, with a night phase going into a dusk and then into a day phase as well. But I'm going to ask each of the players to let me know what they remember from last session and recap what their characters have done. And then we'll see about continuing day phase in a particular fashion. Okay. So let's start with Whitmore. What do you remember from last time?
Well, a man came to the steps of Hargrave House, claiming that the supernatural had infested their fight club. We began our investigation, but were cut short by moments of intimacy between the members of Hargrave House, as Whitmore and Doc spent a moment drinking and telling stories, and Victor and Lord Campbell-Hughes showed that death is not always a concern for the rich and famous.
Doc, what do you remember from last time?
So before Doc Roy McBain went out drinking with Whitmore in the morning, Doc Roy McBain went out drinking the night before. And when he did that, he managed to get into a little bit of trouble at first with a tall and very interesting character named Cobweb. But after keeping his cool, he was able to kind of infiltrate this little group of angry dice players at a table. And full name is Cobweb. Just Cobweb, I believe, is all that that Roy McBain got from that, besides just like a huge crush. What else happened? Oh yeah. While at the table, Doc was able to overhear a disagreement between I think it's then they heard the disagreement between the father and the bishop. One was eager to reopen and like might have been skimming money out of the church. And then I believe shortly after or before that, Roy relieved a very drunk priest of an esoteric book about demonology.
Lord Campbell-Hughes, what do you remember?
I remember spending the night in the catacombs of St. Cecilia with Whitmore, gathering clues and coming to the realization that this cathedral was tainted by darkness, and knowing that we have to steel ourselves for this coming night as we try to take all the clues that we have and try to sort out how we can take down the gargoyle. And he's also I remember he's haunted by his past, where he went into the realm of the Fae for Queen Victoria, and he's recognized somebody in a crowd, and I think whenever he's out and about in London, he's going to be looking for her face in the crowd. Like he's like actively not on the ground asking people about her, but he's looking for her.
Okay. And Victor, what do you remember from last time?
Last time, Victor went to the cathedral to check in with the priest there about the body hanging from its roof. He went inside to see if the priest was there. He was not, but he was contacted by the gargoyle itself. He followed it outside into the graveyard and engaged in battle with it, just to feel out the enemy that Hargrave House is facing. At the end of that engagement, the gargoyle disappeared into the night and left the body of the I think clergyman in the graveyard after it left. And then towards the dawn phase, we heard some masks from Lord Campbell-Hughes about his time from the perspective of a young boy in a faraway place, and about the childhood upbringing of Victor, where he was tested alongside other scions of other famous houses of monster hunters.
Thank you. All right, so that places us in day phase still. I believe that there were a couple of people that wanted to do specific things for the day phase, maybe not necessarily all the way into information moves or what have you, but at least to kind of have a little breather before we enter dusk phase. As a review, the St. Cecilia's gargoyle threat has 8 clues that are wanting to be used for answer a question. So that's for complexity 4. Give yourselves some great bonuses if you can incorporate all of those clues. And then Shoreditch Slugger has one question that is a 2 complexity, which you do have 2 clues so far on the board for that. And then the resolving the threat for Shoreditch Slugger requires a complexity 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and commence with the remainder of day phase before we enter into dusk and do all that, the list from there. Okay, so whomever wants to, engage in a scene or do whatever you choose, please go ahead.
Probably before the wee hours of the morning, Whitmore would rise, get dressed, prepare a very simple breakfast for Lord Campbell-Hughes, and then head out in an attempt to infiltrate the REC's kitchen. Specifically, despite Whitmore preparing a breakfast for Lord Campbell-Hughes each day, we have learned that he still takes brunch at the REC, and that would upset Whitmore, because clearly there's something about their brunch that isn't his breakfast, and Whitmore would need to find out what exactly they serve for brunch.
What do they serve for brunch, Lord James Campbell-Hughes?
Lemon cakes, and
I was not expecting that.
some little cucumber sandwiches.
I don't know if you want to have a little scene or anything like that. Whitmore about coming into the REC's kitchen or anything like that.
It would, given that Whitmore tends to dress somewhat like a servant, I assume that getting around to the back and finding the kitchen entrance wouldn't be too much of a challenge.
I don't think so. I mean, in fact, you probably see some kitchen boys and scullery maids, like hurrying back and forth to get the wood for the fires, as well as throwing out some slop in a deep corner in the back, draining them out, and then yelling at each other like in a friendly way of trying to get the meals ready and things just set up for the day. And then I think you smell the smells of their brunch. Not only the seeing what they're the peelings from the cold sandwiches, but also the the peelings from the lemons that they're using for the lemon cakes. And I think you can get a pretty decent idea. It's of what they're about.
Excellent. I would perhaps also see about asking or trying to flag down someone who looks like a server or a busser inside the club and ask if they know what Lord Campbell-Hughes tends to order for brunch, as as we at his house were hoping to surprise him with it one day.
I think you see some servers. They have their collars loosened, maybe their waistcoats are a little bit askew because they're not quite buttoned up yet, and they're taking a smoke break on the outside. And it's like, oh, what are you about then, mate? Hey, well, it's like a fine fellow like yourself, skulking about here. What do you need?
A question for, oddly enough, you all. Oh, there goes Doc rubbing off on me. Would any of you happen to know one of the members, a
We
Lord
know all the
Campbell-Hughes?
members. We know all the members, my friend.
Excellent. Would you then happen to know what he takes for brunch?
That's an odd request. It's like you need to know what he eats.
It is for a surprise when myself and the rest of the house go traveling to prepare some of his favorite foods. An odd request, I know, but one that needs to be made.
Huh. All right. Well, I mean, your sir definitely demands just delicacies that, I mean, I would have assumed would be more for the ladies. As one of them picks up a set of dice and starts throw them against the wall, before their break's over. And what say you to a bit of a gamble before we let you know what's about with his lordship's breakfast?
A game of dice?
Absolutely.
By all means.
And I'm not going to make you roll for it anything weird like that unless you want to. But yeah,
only if we really want to figure out what the mask of, oh goodness, where is it? The Mask of Penance is. But no, I think a die game is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. No, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, I mean, you toss some dice, and they're letting you know it's your lordship is pretty much into the lemon cakes and the cucumber sandwiches with the crust cut off. That would have been more expected for the ladies of REC, but he seems to enjoy the delicacy, and they'll actually say this as well. They'll say it does make him popular with the ladies. He's the only one that will sit amongst them enjoying his food and thereby enjoying their company, whether they know it or not.
At this, I think Whitmore's cheeks would kind of start to glow just a little bit red. But other than that, keep his composure and thank the servers and the bussers, and let them get back to their break.
Yeah, I mean, it's as they finish, I mean, it's one more toss of the die and another puff of the cigarettes and what have you, and then they're off buttoning themselves up, getting ready to go. Yep.
And one more thing I would say as they begin to button up, and I'd flip each of them a coin.
Oh.
If you would not mention this to Lord Campbell-Hughes, we do want to keep it a surprise for our excursion.
Absolutely. If you find yourself, needing a bit of amusement, stop by again. Glad to get you in our game.
Will do.
All right. And yeah, they salute you and get about their business. Anybody else wanting to do a scene or two before the end of day phase?
I wouldn't mind doing one where I go back to where I saw all the beggars and see if I could find the woman again.
Sure. Okay. So you're trying to see if, like, if she's hanging about with the same group.
Yeah, I think I would ride by in like a carriage,
Mhm.
and then if I don't see her, I would stop like a block down and
Mhm.
tell the driver to wait for me, and then proceed on foot back to where I saw her earlier, or the day before.
Are you jonesing? Ugh, I can't speak. Are you jonesing for an investigation move, or are you just trying to do a bit of a search?
I don't mind rolling one to see if I can if that helps me spot her out.
Sure.
I guess if I roll 12,
Yes.
I'll do that then.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah, since you're really trying to seek her out, I'm gonna say this is with reason.
Okay. I've got an 8 with my +1.
Okay. You do see maybe one or two of the same folks that were scrabbling after your money the last time, but there's like probably the same amount of beggars. Like you might get the feeling that there's like a rotation going on, right? So maybe like the same couple will be around for this particular day or what have you, and then the others will cycle through the week. um because it seems like they're old hands at, like, begging for alms or asking for money and such. And one of them will actually look at you and say, "Ah, a bit of a tough that came before, eh? You have any more money, sir? Yeah? Yeah?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yep.
Oh, we're
I do.
always interested in a little bit of money."
Last time I just tossed it. This time I think you'd have to earn it.
Really? How do we earn such coin when we are merely beggars and the poor?
I guess you still have eyes and ears, and apparently a mouth that talks. So perhaps you can tell me, if you can remember, a woman who was amongst your midst, very tall, very gray, very regal. Is that ringing any bells?
Oh, that would describe me, son. And she brings herself up to her full height, which is probably a head lower than yours. And she just smiles at you with like kind of like a picket fence full of blackened or broken teeth. Ah, hmm,
I would have recognized it. I would have recognized her if it was you right from the get go. I'm have a very keen power of the obvious.
keen power of the obvious. So right at the tip of your nose, yes? She's poking at her nose and then she reaches out to poke yours.
So you don't want to earn the money, I guess.
I do. Didn't say that I was going to be not forthcoming. It's just wanting to play on words and, well. I think I know what you are looking for. Or maybe it's who.
Right. I told you who I was looking for. You're in luck. You're in luck, madam, because I am a man of leisure, so I have plenty of time to stand here and banter with you.
It is the other that you wish to banter with, I'm sure. Someone who is of your ilk, but has been brought down low. Do you know what that's like? Being brought down low as you can go. As low as me, begging here on this street.
Unfortunately, I do not.
An honest answer from a rich man. Interesting. I will say that the person that you seek does not come here often, but when she does, she seems to have a purpose to seek Someone such as yourself, perhaps. But it is on her desire and whim that she comes.
I'm going to give you the coin because you did tell me some information. I know you're being truthful. And I'm going to give you double the coin of what I was going to give you if you pass along a message to her the next time she may frequent this area of London. Tell her that she can find me at Hargrave House. She'll know where it is.
Hargrave House, yes?
Yes.
You are generous. Perhaps I shall be as well. Evens and odds. Even the odds. That reminds me of a fight. Reminds me of perhaps fighters. Did you know that there is a particular person, perhaps, that you might have been involved with? They have been to something that you seek. She kind of pulls out of her sleeve like 3 cards. Like they look like tarot cards, but they're very dingy, so it's kind of rough to tell. And she will show you a card that looks...
sure I understand.
Thank you, Apple Watch. She'll show you one card that looks like it's 7 hearts stuck through with swords. She'll show you another card that looks like it has a cup. No, actually 9 cups overflowing with drink or something red. And then she'll show you another one. The last one shows the lovers, or what looks like lovers because they're entwined almost as one. And she'll mention there is a particular person that you may meet that looks bruised and bloody, but he does not talk about his injury or his pain. He'll boast about being so insatiably horny since joining something called Bout Club. How's that for information, sir?
It's a bit jumbled, but maybe I can sort it out, or some of my colleagues can. I'd appreciate that because we are looking for an Achilles type fighter.
It's not just one that comes out this way. It's many of them, if not all of them, that seem to enjoy that particular kind of hunger once they join Bout Club. Take that for what you will, and I will pass along your message.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mom. And I
She'll
turn
bow.
back to the. I turn back to the where the carriage is waiting.
That is a clue, though. So, if nothing else, we're going to go ahead and close out day phase and go into the night. Excuse me, the dusk. Any playbook or custom moves resolve, during dusk phase. So, oh, Doc. Now, if I remember correctly, you have advantage on this one.
Do.
Okay.
I do.
Please use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 2d6.
So 3d6, 3d6. You take the 2 highest.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. 3d6
plus whatever it
sensitivity
says.
or composure, I
Yeah.
believe. So.
You pick.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't enter a name because I was just reading this move.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe it's 3 dice take the highest. It is increase the success tier by 1 step.
Oh,
It
okay.
specifically says, it doesn't say advantage, it says you gain some
Okay.
resistance to your curse on your next quickening roll, increase the success tier by 1 step.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so what did you
Okay.
roll?
I didn't, because I forgot to put a name, which means I get to roll the right roll. Remove that. It's
All right.
perfect. It all works out because that's an 8, and it becomes now the next level of success.
10 plus.
So I gain advantage on all vitality rolls until
Until the next dawn phase.
the next dawn phase.
So basically you're set for nighttime. Your body is stronger and faster, and you manage to keep the quickening in check. So roll with advantage with taking any actions that use vitality.
Okay, and this will be the 3 die, take the 2 highest.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Plus whatever modifier. I mean, with vitality, sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So that is that for the American. All right. Lord Campbell-Hughes. Yeah, because we haven't resolved the threat, so you haven't cleared any boxes yet.
No,
Okay.
I'm not messing with the REC.
Got it. Okay, and then Factotum, Whitmore, you have day work. You must choose one of the options. Let's see.
Yes, and
day
the
work?
options are either gain a clue from an active threat,
Mhm.
or get something for personal quarters for another hunter.
Okay. What would you like?
At the moment, given how early we are into the fight, the slugger threat, and how well prepared we are for the gargoyle threat, I don't believe a clue is necessary. So I'm going to add something to someone's personal quarters.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And last session I mentioned to Doc in our vulnerable move that I'd been sharpening Victor's knives. So I would like to present Victor with a sharpened kitchen knife. I'm sure you need more weapons, Victor.
Okay. So let's see. Next bit is to paint the scene for Hargrave House. Let's do the trophy room. There were hunters living in Hargrave House before you. Trophies from their encounters with the supernatural can be found here. Describe one. So each of you would describe one of the trophies that exists in this trophy room. And again, you can put it under the rooms at Hargrave House to remember callbacks for later.
Okay, I think I've got one. Stop me if it's too beyond, because I'm still getting my gauges in. What if it was an entire chupacabra pelt? Like a really disturbing piece of fleshy hide hung up on a wall, like nailed to corners of a board. And like, you can't tell if the board is just there to hold it, or if there's some sort of esoteric magic going on there to like make sure that chupacabra doesn't come back, because it looks kind of purposeful.
Is there like a plaque or something like that with it, or some
Well, I
kind
think yeah, it's like a big backing of like polished cedar. And again, like it could just be there to display it stretched out, because it's like nailed in with brass nails on all the edges. But it also, like, maybe the brass nails are important and like there's a reason it's there. And if it wasn't there, maybe the chupacabra would just like come back. I don't know.
It's fun to think about.
Mhm.
What else? What else is in this room?
2 elegant dueling pistols. They're flintlocks. They're identical. They're black, and the metal has been silvered. And it looks like there's these little fleur-de-lis etchings along the barrel, but on closer inspection, they're vampire bats.
There's a full-size sarcophagus.
Any likeness on the sarcophagus?
A human with a black dog for a head.
There would be a clay golem's head, about twice the size of a normal man's head. On the forehead, instead of the word high, it would be crossed out 18 times. So 18 lines etching across the word high on his face.
Now, each player will say what their hunter will be doing during the upcoming night phase. Or actually, I should say, let me back that up. Sorry. First, because of all the clues for St. Cecilia's gargoyle, there is a very good possibility that you could resolve it tonight if you want. But again, you have to answer the question correctly. Oh my gosh. So you can choose to do that like at this phase, sure, okay, before going into night, because that could determine like how you handle the nighttime. So what do you think? Anybody have any particular theory on the clues, which I'm going to read out right now? So the clues available to use: a tome of blasphemous rituals, a crumbling gravestone where it should not be, the weird dried up hand thing clutching a crucifix, a basin of ichor smelling of pine and roses, an inverted iron cross that turns back if moved, a stone that glows crimson in the hand, an overheard argument between the father and the bishop about reopening the church and rumors that the bishop is skimming money, and finally, a small esoteric book on monsters stolen from a drunken demonologist priest. So those are the 8 clues that you could conceivably incorporate into a theory. You don't have to use all of them. The minimum, of course, would be, see, 2 for the half the complexity. Full complexity is 4, and then you would roll with bonuses after 4 clues are used. So
And if we succeed on this, the threat is handled.
it just determines that your theory is right.
Okay.
And depending on how high you roll would determine how dangerous it is or how complicated it's going to be, the resolution will be. So,
And if we don't use any of the clues we've amassed here, they just...
yeah, I mean, basically they go into the ether, you know,
Okay.
so, or might come back later to bite you. Who knows? I don't know.
So we
But,
got to use
yeah.
all the clues if we can.
But yeah,
Since there's people, the new people have never done this before, would you guys feel more comfortable giving it a shot, or would you rather see how I kind of know what I would do, but I'm curious as to what you guys think.
let's see what the question is again. So what the question you're trying to answer to resolve the threat is: what is needed to capture and banish the entity? Okay, since it was decided that a demon was giving the gargoyle life. All right, so what is needed to capture and banish the entity? Resolve the threat by breaking the gargoyle asunder and banishing the entity that releases before it can escape. All right, so that is the question you need to answer with all that in mind to be able to resolve this. Okay. So, and just in case it wasn't said before, and I apologize, we take these clues as they are. And if you're not familiar with playing Brindlewood Bay or the Between beforehand, like, you know, basically you are taking these clues as they are here, and you are free to contextualize. You know, like, it doesn't matter where they were found. It doesn't matter who told you, blah, blah, blah. It matters how you, as a group, decide to utilize the clues to answer this particular question at this time. Okay. And I have, you know, I can help steer the conversation as well and be involved, since this is a freewheeling discussion outside of character. Okay. So have at it. Anybody have a theory? Or
I think I've got one.
okay.
Oh, I'm just gonna spitball something here.
Oh, please do. Spitballing's great.
Given the fact that we've got a crumbling gravestone, I imagine that trapping the creature inside of a grave, possibly one with a crumbling gravestone, to reassemble this grave, to rebury the creature, recover it with dirt, reassemble the gravestone, would require someone holding or someone forcing a crucifix to stay the right way up. So the crucifix fighting against you, as someone else chants from a book of blasphemous rituals while we swing an incense of pine and roses. As this happens, I would imagine that something, most likely the hand clutching the crucifix, would start to glow, still attached to the person holding it. And that would banish the demon into the ground, burying it among God's ritual.
What if we also had to smash the hand? Because the goal is to like contextualize as many of these as possible, right? Because that's gonna, yeah. What if we had to use the glowing rock to smash the hand clutching the crucifix as it begins to glow, and we were able to glean this by cross-referencing the reference of or the book of the tome of blasphemous rituals with the esoteric book on monsters that Doc stole from the drunken demonologist priest. I don't know how to deal with that overheard argument besides answering a question that's not being asked.
I got something on that one. I think if we have an argument amongst us, that some kind of conflict, that'll attract that we can use that to attract the creature to then capture it, like bait, I guess.
That's how the demon got there in the first place, right? It's like this conflict at the core of the church, and it's like, very good. This is what I live for.
Oh, and by the way, that dead body that Victor found was not Father O'Donnell, by the way. That was one of his other deacons. He's going through deacons like,
Hopefully we can help with that.
Yeah. But I like it. I mean, like, I think it covers all of the clues. So, I mean, like, you're cross-referencing with the tomes and the book, and then you're going to start an argument to draw the creature to you. And then you're going to try to trap it in the grave while holding up a crucifix with the hand thing, and then like burn some incense, and then have the iron cross handy. And where does the stone come in? I forgot.
Oh, it smashes the hand clutching the crucifix as the hand begins to glow.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so 1, 2.
Is that someone's hand or is it a different hand?
So there are two different crucifixes. There's
Correct.
the one that attempts to de-right itself or invert itself, and then a weird dried up hand clutching the crucifix. So one crucifix is being forced upright, the other crucifix is being freed from this small weird hand grasping it.
Yeah.
My question to you, and this could be part of the context of actually in the game, like in play, but I mean, how do you plan on trapping the gargoyle long enough to do the chants and then turn the crucifixes like round the right way and smash the stone? Because I mean, again, if you're trying to trap the gargoyle in a grave, you need some way to hold it down. I'm just saying. Yeah. And it is still made of stone.
maybe our conflict or our argument keeps it enthralled, or it goads us on, or something like that while the ritual's going on.
We could also use one of the crucifixes as a massive weight, pinning it down, assuming that it cannot pick up a crucifix.
Interesting thought. Okay. All right. I like it. 1, 2. Yeah, it's all using all the 8 clues. So it basically would be a roll with a +4.
Good.
Unless we roll double ones, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Unless we roll 2 ones.
No, Paul said nothing.
Right.
No jinxes.
Paul didn't say anything. That's what I heard.
Paul, you really need to take yourself off mute more.
Yeah, I guess I saw your mouth moving and I heard nothing. It's crazy. But it probably wasn't that important because you weren't saying anything actually, so it's good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I will accept one person rolling 2d6 +4, or like one, like 2 people rolling 1 die each +4. So whatever works.
Who rolled the last one? I forget. We answered a question first session, right?
That was you.
Was that me?
Oh, that's right. That was you.
Well, then I don't want to
Because-
touch it this time.
Mhm.
I think it's Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy, you
Oh,
like knit
oh,
so much of
good.
this together. We believe in you and won't blame you no matter what happens.
Yeah, you really shouldn't, because I mean, like, the roll is always the one that's like,
So
oh.
it's 2d6 plus 4.
Mhm. What is it? I'm not looking.
It's another 8. We've rolled 3 8s.
Oh my gosh. Crazy eights. All right, great. No, that's good. That's good. Because I mean, like, 8 just means that, okay, let's reveal this move again. I mean, like, go over this move again. Answer a question on a 7 to 9. It's the correct solution and an opportunity can be pursued, but the keeper will add an unwelcome complication to the answer, and or pursuing the opportunity will be more dangerous.
But I think he rolled an 8, but then plus 4 is a 12, right?
No, no,
rolled-
I
You rolled a
I
4?
rolled I rolled a 4. It's in
Mhm.
the die roller.
Well, thank goodness you had a +4. Awesome.
Hey, anyone else remember all those 10 pluses from last time? Wasn't that neat? Wasn't that super cool and neat that
Oh,
we did all
man.
that?
We'll take the 8. We'll take the 8.
We'll take it.
We'll take
It's
the
lucky
8.
numbers.
Absolutely. It's great.
In China, it's a lucky number.
It's great. Ah, goodness. All right. So, I mean, it's not half as fun as like, you know, when it's a complete miss. It's brilliant. So this is great. This is great.
Vaguely understanding what would happen if we missed that roll, I live in eternal dread of that.
Okay.
Like, if
I don't have to tell you right now if you
I
don't
know,
want to.
like, I have like a vague understanding of it, right? Like, it isn't the right answer, and like, oh, I can't imagine if we just use 8 clues and then roll 2 ones, and oh,
If we want to upgrade that, if we ever fail it, we all have to spend a mask.
Yes. I mean, if there's a threat mask that's still on the table, then one person can take it, but then everybody has to do it, has to narrate something. But then everybody else would be taking a mask of the past or a mask of the future to cover that upgrade. But again, it has to be everyone on the table upgrading that tier.
do we want to consider that here? I don't know how much better a 10 plus is. I'm seeing no's. Okay.
Trust me, you'd want to save it for the miss, because otherwise my reactions could be really
Right.
bad. Okay, no, that's fabulous. Okay, so getting back to the dusk phase. All right, now that we know that you guys are right and you're going to pursue this opportunity, as you've said, for creating this banishing ritual. Yeah. Breaking the gargoyle asunder, banishing the entity. Yep. You're going to tell me what each of you will be doing for night phase. Okay. So, Victor, what will you specifically be doing for the night phase?
I think that Victor sees the plan for the St. Cecilia's gargoyle, sees how straightforward it is. It's like, oh, okay, there's steps to this. They're gonna be fine. I have a fight club to go to instead.
Doc, what are you doing?
Some of us do need to like take actions that support the ritual, right? We can't all just be like, it'll be fine. Right?
I mean,
Like,
people have to have an argument.
Right. That's what I'm
Somebody's
saying.
got to be turning the who's a wingus, the crucifixes, and then burning in some incense, and also trying to help keep the gargoyle in the grave that you plan on using as a pit trap, I guess. And yeah, I mean, like, there's a bunch of and chant.
Right.
Somebody has got to chant.
Right. So the answer is mechanically, yes, we all have to now do these things that we described in the clue ritual. Yeah.
Conceivably, yes. Although I will say that some people have gone completely off piste, even though they've said what they're going to do.
It's all good. I can smash the hand and also maintain a great and well sold argument at the same time. Easy.
I was going to say we could probably feasibly do it with 2 people. I don't know. I think 2 of us could do it.
We got the argument and chanting, I think, is tough unless we stop the argument once we well, remember, the crucifix is going to weigh him down. So like we would argument, get into grave, drop crucifix, chant, burn, smash, right? No, something like that.
I mean, in theory, you could handle it like cinematically if you want to come to the Fight Club too. Like that's why I think two people could probably do it. Like, there's enough fictional positioning to be able to do it with two people.
Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah.
definitely three would make it like very like clear, like in the theater of the mind, what's happening.
Yeah.
And Doc, if you wanted to, or Bob, if you wanted to take advantage of Doc's decent rolls, I think the advantage on vitality this evening.
True.
Yeah.
Whitmore was definitely going to do the ritual because he's a lover, not a fighter.
Well then, so if the fictional positioning is allowing us to take care of that ritual with two people, then yeah, I should try to do something that takes advantage of my control that I'm feeling this evening. I'm gonna go. One of the clues we have for the bruiser, the fight guy, the slugger, is that like we have a lead on his runner that like is getting him stuff during the day. What if I like robbed that runner? I don't know how closely clues can be related, but like I've been thinking all session, just like I want to I feel like that's a clue that is right for follow-up, right? We have a lead on the runner, but it's not
Sure.
So I thought like, oh, okay, we got a lead. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna rob him.
Okay.
I'm gonna steal stuff. I'm feeling like this also, to represent the success on that roll with the quickening. Like I think that Doc's coming in hot. Doc is like, yeah, Doc feels like $1 million. Like if it wasn't maybe even weirder to be shadow boxing while you talk in the 1800s than it is now, I think Doc would be shadow boxing. Okay. I don't think that's like part of the cultural thing enough to be able to get away with it.
It is fine. As long as you don't have a smartphone, I think we're okay. Cool. All right. So Whitmore, you're going to be part of this ritual, and I imagine Lord Campbell-Hughes will be as well.
Well, so what I've spent the day doing, running around London, is gathering a lot of the stuff for the rituals and the just the physical pieces and the rose water and all that kinds of things. But also, he's got a backup plan that if it all goes awry, he's going to firebomb St. Cecilia's as like a backup plan to burn it down if it's just like a standard operating procedure for Hargrave House when Lord Campbell-Hughes is on the roster. It's better. Remember, it's better to destroy London if that's what it takes to save it. So that's just. So yes, and he's got matches.
Oh my God. Okay, this will be great.
I like that our default backup plan is firebombing. I think that's really good. I just wanted to speak up and make sure that's known. Wow.
God.
Lord James Campbell-Hughes, everybody.
Oh God, I can't wait to hear more of these masks.
Just it's ready to go at any time.
Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Okay. If there are no changes to these plans, this will be great. Yeah. Okay. And we don't have any Janus masks that need narrating. So moving on to the last part of the dusk phase, which is introducing the unseen. And I've picked that out. So again, remember that the unseen is something that happens as completely separate from the hunter's scenes. And it is a slice of life or a seedy underbelly of London. And we will be cinematically cutting back and forth between the unseen and your hunter's scenes. And your goal for one of your dawn questions is to get that echo of the night. You are provided spaces to be able to write down what you say. And if you can pull on some of the sensual or visual details from your unseen or some other players unseen into the hunter scenes and vice versa, then you get that point for the echo of the night. Okay. And let's see. So the Port of London is one of the busiest in the world. We're doing moonlit mudlarking on line 11, third one over. The Port of London is one of the busiest in the world, and with so much cargo being loaded and unloaded, the odd crate ends up overboard. The ebb and flow of the Thames deposits this lost cargo up and down the riverbank. Under the light of the full moon, the desperate or optimistic pick through the sucking mud of low tide, stinking of shit and rotting fish, in the hope of finding treasure. Okay? So, paint the scene is, of course, everyone. Right? Prompt 2, I think we'll go to, hold on, I'm going to look at the dinner party a little bit. Okay, I can't remember who had it, so pardon if I'm having you do it. If I'm,
I believe it was everyone but Victor did a individual one.
okay, so then Victor gets second prompt, thank you. All right, and then prompt 3 will be Bob. And prompt 4 will be Jeremy. Okay. So with that in mind, we're past the hour mark, so we're going to take our first 10-minute break. Okay. So just get shored up with some drink or snack or whatever you need, and then think about how you're going to be conducting yourself through night phase. All right, and I will see you back at the 45 mark. I can't count. 55 mark. Whatever. 10 minutes. Okay. See you in a little bit. And we begin night phase. So, paint the scene for moonlit mudlarking. What debris from industry, trade, or home life is found washed up on the mud banks of the Thames? What does it tell us about the city? All right, so that's a paint the scene for everyone. And again, feel free and then throw all of your details into the space underneath that prompt.
I'm going to say there's a case that's busted open and it's full, but we can see from the top a few layers of what was in it. And it's they're stamped out of like tin with some industrial, press somewhere is just churning these out. And it's there are 10 crucifixes with like the British flag at the bottom with like probably, it says Hail Britannia, but then it's a crucifix for the Church of England. And what it tells us is that maybe the new religion for this time is industry and making things cheap and making them quick and out of something inexpensive where you can make a whole lot of them and stack them into a crate and ship them off.
There would be the partial carcass of a butchered hog. Just enough so that you can see that someone was in the process of butchering this hog and threw the rest of it into the River Thames. It leaves behind a trail of blood as it bobs uncomfortably down the river. It shows us that this city will take exactly what it needs from you and leave the rest to rot.
I think we see a picnic basket that doesn't seem like anyone took anything from it. It's still full of like food and the blanket and all that stuff. I think what we learn from that is, even though this city is grandiose and so many things important happen here, there are just people day to day who have unfortunate things happen to them, like dropping their picnic basket in the Thames on the way to like a date or something.
Okay. I couldn't educate myself enough about printing presses in this short time to figure out a specific thing. But I was thinking, like, what if there was a like completely burnt out printing press, or like the pieces of it washing up on the shore of the Thames. And I think like representing that like the news is flying off the presses too fast. It's just running down the machines that put it out. And whether that's, the aching growing pains of a, the precursor of the 24-hour news cycle, or just like a statement on like gossip, right? Like ink for gossip mags, talking about high society and petty slights. It's keeping the printing presses too busy. They're falling apart and being dumped into the river.
We're going to head over to location of Bout Club first. All right. So we know from Bram Fuller, his bruised and cut visage, letting you know about this new fighter that has come out. It's in a construction site for a church in Whitechapel. All right. So you two, okay, let me ask you something. Do you go together, or because you're on the trail of the runner, Doc, you're going to go chase after them, and then Victor, you're just heading straight to Bout Club? Okay.
We could do a little bit of backtracking, because it's like a triangulation thing, right? Like I have a lead on who the runner is. I
Mhm.
also know where they're going to be going. If I'm coming with Victor to fight night, then like I've got, so like I would get to fight night with Victor and then like backtrack in the direction of my lead. And as soon as I like see the runner coming to me, I like pull them into an alley.
Okay, great. What name did you get?
Oh, that's such a good question that I should have prepared for.
That's okay. We're going to go to Victor while you think about it.
Okay.
All right. So Victor, you get to the door. And yeah, there's a big, solid, squat fella there. Looks like a brick wall was, if a brick wall was human. And about his bald head, doesn't seem to be smiling, just kind of like very imposing and big and wide. So that is who's in front of the Bout Club entrance.
Victor will approach. He goes up to him and he'll be like, "So I heard about this. Bout Club. Is this a to the death or to knockout? I just want to know kind of the setup."
No Bout Club here. Move along.
No, you are a very imposing figure. Your ilk are usually placed in front of these sorts of things. I don't think you would like it if I would just force my way through. Is there any way? Would you like money? What's the way for me to enter here?
You want to fight?
I would love to fight.
And from behind you, you hear like almost a grin in their voice as someone says, "Ah, a fight is what you want. Lovely. That's the kind of verve we like to hear." And out of the darkness behind you comes a smiling fellow, kind of like has like a sweep to his hair and just like has grandiose gestures, like always a showman, and covered in blood. It's like, I just came from a bout myself. Ah. And he claps you on the shoulder. Victor, Brick, it's okay, it's okay. Let's have this fine gentleman here show his mettle. What do you think? And Brick just kind of looks at you up and down and goes,
Did your mom give you that name, or it's something you picked it up yourself?
Ha! You're so funny. Let's go in. Let's go in. Ha.
All right.
Doc, did you think of the person's name yet?
Yeah, it's Ruddy Paul Miller. He's known for having like a very bright red face. That's like part of my lead.
Okay. I think you're not going in, obviously. You're looking for this fellow to see if they're going to be skulking about Bout Club. And I think you do spot him. I think you see him like at the back. I mean, like, obviously since this is a church construction site, like, not a lot of things are built up yet, but maybe some things have some tarp over it or like curtains or beams that are kind of protecting different areas. But in the back, like what would be the back of this place, like you see someone with Ruddy's description, talking to somebody that's like inside the establishment. And so he looks like he's discussing something, looks like he's trading pound notes or something, or like he's getting pound notes from somebody, and he is going to be on his way. What do you do?
Well, dang, I was hoping to rob him so I could steal what he was bringing to Slugger. So it looks like he's like completing his delivery and getting money for it right now.
No, like it doesn't look like he's given them anything. It's like he's getting money.
Oh, gotcha. So like maybe they're paying him to go out and get something and bring it back.
Possibly.
Okay.
You don't know.
Well, if it doesn't look like he is actively giving the thing that I'm hoping to find, then I guess I'm gonna try to follow him and just like position myself in the crowd to be unobtrusive.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, like you don't see like a whole bunch of people out here. I mean, like, there are a few people that are looking like they're milling about, but I mean, like not obviously so. When you do see them in the dingy light of of what little street lamps are here, you do see like, maybe there's some broken teeth or some cuts across the face or, some bruising in like weird places. So yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah,
you probably know there.
my interests are twofold then. To not try to jump this person while we're amongst a bunch of bare knuckle boxers, and also to make sure it looks like he has the package, because I want the package. Money is nice, but not what I'm looking for.
Okay. So we're going to cut over to Whitmore and Lord Campbell-Hughes. So where do you think we're at right now? Do you think you're getting ready to set up? You are set up. What do you, where are we at?
I think we're set up in the graveyard, and we've got satchels with all of our supplies, and I've got a shovel where I'm working on the trap. I'm going to start the conflict is what my plan is with me and Whitmore.
Whitmore would probably have a small fire going to start both to light all of the various things that need to be lit on fire, not the church, but like the incensers and things. And while this is happening, he's also brewing a cup of tea on the fire in the graveyard for Lord Campbell-Hughes.
Must stay civilized. Awesome. So as you're doing this setup, how are you setting up this conflict, this argument?
Like this. Say, Whitmore.
Yes, Lord Campbell-Hughes.
There's been an issue I've been wanting to talk to you about in terms of Hargrave House's accounts. In the last few months, there's been I don't know how to say this, but I'll be blunt. An egregious amount of money has come missing. Do you know anything about this?
Whitmore would stumble, not at first not realizing that this is the argument about money to track the demons. Like, no, I haven't been skimming off to pay to attempt to start a network of spies. And oh, this is for the and point at the. Why no? Whitmore would say loudly and dramatically, Wait, no, I have not done anything with the Book of Funds. It must have been Doc with all of his drinking and horse feed, or maybe Victor with his weapons.
No, nope, nobody know. And the reason why I know this, Whitmore, is I brought some receipts. In my satchel here, I have plenty of receipts, and I'd like you to come clean before I go to Scotland Yard and turn you in.
You've got all of those receipts in your lovely, delicate handmade satchel that makes you look very distinguished this evening. How could you have such receipts? I've hidden them so well. Burned them in the fireplace.
I've had my eye on your bookkeeping habits for quite some time now, and I find them lacking, sir. Lacking.
If you find them lacking, then it's only because you didn't spend the time to teach me how to keep the books. How could you not?
I think at this point there is a screech of sorts. It's something that you hear not only in your ears, but it's also something that seems to be around you as you hear this heavy, bulky flapping of a sort. Or hissing, some kind of sound that makes it sound like something is descending near you. And out from the shadows at the edge of the light of the fire, you see this chimera with the water, sparkling water pouring out of its human mouth, and then its serpent's head rearing up from its stone body. And it approaches you, and the serpent's head opens its mouth wide as if it's about to swallow you, but it actually just rents another scream into the air as it comes and charges. And we go to the unseen. Paul, two youths come to blows over a case of whiskey with a couple of bottles still intact. As they push and shove in the slimy mud, how do we know this fight is about more than just the find?
We see these two youths, maybe probably like our times, like high school age. I don't know what kind of school grade there was in Victorian London. But they're pushing, they're shoving, each of them with very like furious faces on. As they push, they shove, things escalate. Now they have like their fists up over this whiskey bottle. And they start like, yeah, basically like fist fighting each other a bit. Like one gets a good hit, another one gets a good hit, and then the camera cuts close as they like kind of clinch with each other, and one of them is like, how much longer? How much longer do we have to do this? The other one's just like, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And the camera pans out a little bit, and we see also mudlarking are these like two girls. They seem to be friends with each other. And they're just like watching them fight. And eventually both of them get up. Both of them like take their shirts off as they keep fighting, and they both, you can see them like eyeing the girls as they watch them fight. And the one guy's just like, all right, I'm gonna come in, you're gonna lift me up, and you're gonna slam me down, all right? And it's like, are you sure? Just do it. Just do it. And he just comes in, he just lifts him up, slams him to the ground. And we hear like a yelp from like one of the girls who comes in to help them out and they push the other guy away. And she's just like, please stop. It's pointless. Don't. And the one dude's like, fine, walks away. And as the guy gets tended to, the other friend walks away and just like, I swear to God, next time he asks me for a favor on his birthday, I'm gonna ask in advance what it is. And he walks away from his friend.
Doc, You're following this fellow. He seems to be furtively looking around and almost looking for someone as he makes his way across these dark and shadowy streets. Are you going to approach him, or you're just following him to his eventual target?
I think my plan was to follow him to his eventual target because I want to rob him. I'm mugging him for sure. I think mechanically it works, but also again, like the narrative translation is like Doc is pumped. Doc's like got electricity running through his skin and dynamite in his bones, and he's just like rubbing his hands and clenching his jaw back and forth, and it's just like he's on it.
And I think as you, make your way as subtly as you think you will, but I don't think it's subtle enough, because out from the shadows in front of you, as you are watching Ruddy make his way across these streets, 3 figures cut you off and get in your way. What do? They're kind of big and bulky as well.
Y'all must have mistaken me for somebody else. I'm actually on my way on an important errand. So if you could just, I'll go around you, actually, is what I'll do. I make my way to go around them.
Oh, they're moving with you. I'm thinking that if you'd like to extricate yourself out of this, I think you're going to have to use night move.
Okay. Yeah, I think what I was doing there was maybe trying to lull them into a false sense of security before I just bust through them, very dexterously, kind of doing a duck, quick elbow in the side to get past someone, and then I'm trying to be gone off in the distance.
What do you think will go wrong? What are you afraid will happen?
I mean, the thing that would most mess up what I want would be if one of them not just hurt me, but got me. Was able to grab on and hold me back. So I'm going to lose Ruddy Paul Miller.
Got it.
I think that's the worst.
Right. I think not only will you be losing Ruddy in your stealthy chase, you'll tangle with them and you're going to waste a lot of time. But given your refreshed vitality, I'm not sure how they're going to fare, but considering it's 3 against 1, you may not fare so well. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue with that, go ahead and roll night move with vitality.
Yeah, I definitely want to.
And again, you can use personal quarters items if you want to kind of.
Oh, thank you for the reminder. Well,
or actually, you're already at advantage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, never mind.
Never mind.
So 3d6 plus vitality.
Okay, I add 1 more d6. Vitality is +1. Yeah, just got to roll it. That appears to be a 13. So I rolled 6 on 2 of the dice.
13. Oof. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. 12 plus. You do what you intended or you hold steady. The keeper will tell you some extra benefit or advantage you receive. Describe what it looks like. All right. So go ahead and tell me how you dispatch these 3 idiots, and then I will tell you your benefit later on in night phase.
Word. Well, again, I don't have superhuman strength or anything, so definitely wasn't knocking all 3 of them out at a go. I think that's just a bit much, but I want to say my original plan was I'm going to walk around, and as soon as they shift, I'm cutting back through 2 of them and throwing an elbow at the one in the middle to get them out of my way. And I think that works really well. And also I just shatter the guy's ribs. He goes down like a sack of potatoes. Whatever part is broken is broken. I don't want to get into the details, but not only do I make it past, the guy I elbow is just immediately clutching his side on the ground and unable to breathe. And his friends are do we chase the guy? Do we say Tom is dying? Maybe. What do we do? And I'm just like an animal in the night.
Very nice. I'm going to say that you make your way with all these wonderful moves, and the other two are going to hold back and not bother you. And then you do see Ruddy's eventual target. Okay. So give me a second. I'm going to come back to you. All right. Victor. The gentleman covered in blood introduces himself as Colin Yardley, jester to my friends. Are we friends? Let's see how you do in a fight, per se. I am the MC for this wonderful event. Bout Club. Please remember, if you do decide to indulge, that first rule of Bout Club, we don't talk about Bout Club. Outside of Bout Club, of course. But of course. But yes. I'm not the founder of this club, but I have become a leader. I choose these venues and just basically call out the fights. So, you're interested in joining, are you?
Yes, I would like to join Bout Club.
Let's see. And he turns to some of the crowd that's already amassing. And he uses his booming voice to say, "Ha! Gentlemen, we have a newcomer joining us this evening. Welcome. What's your name, sir?"
Hi, I'm Victor. Very nice to meet everyone.
Victor, what do you think, gents? Shall we make this fight more interesting? We shall have Victor face off against... We'll start you off easy. Maybe Francis Oakes will be willing to step up to the plate. Or, in this case, the ring. Grigory, bring out the knuckle dusters you've procured for us, please. If you please.
Ooh. All right. I haven't used some of these in a while. Refreshing.
We try to keep it interesting. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, get into your corners, get ready, and we will see what you are made of, Victor. Back to the cathedral graveyard, I imagine. The creature is charging you both. It's going to try to scatter this ritual or these things that you've gathered, called to you to this spot by your argument. What do you guys do?
I'm not sure how we divided up the jobs, and I think that'll determine like what I do. I think maybe I should do the I should drop the crucifix to pin him down, and you should smash the crucifix, which means I think I also have to do some chanting, or are you going to do the chanting and smashing, and I do the incense and.
It does not particularly matter to me. I can take care of the smashing and the chanting, I believe it was.
Okay.
Although, given that you're much stronger than I, you should probably do the smashing.
Well, if I'm doing the smashing, I can't wrestle the beast.
Oh no, yep, good point. Yep, I will do the smashing and the chanting.
Lord Campbell-Hughes pivots from the ruse, and turns in such a way that he's blocked the gargoyle from Whitmore. It is now like forcing it back with the crucifix and the censer of rose, and I can't remember the other ingredients, rose water, and he's using the crucifix to push the creature back to the grave.
Night move. Since you're engaging with the creature itself, what are you afraid will happen if you fail?
I'm afraid
or lose?
that the serpent part will like swallow my head and then shove my body into the mouth. That's what I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's worse than that. It's like not only is it going to swallow you whole, but it's also going to scatter the remains of this ritual and basically take Whitmore as its next sacrifice, unwilling as he is. So yeah, go ahead and roll night move, please. And since you're engaged, definitely vitality, I would say.
That's an 8.
Okay.
It's a 5 and a 2 plus 1 is 8.
Okay.
So
7
it
to
is
9.
crazy, it's crazy 8s tonight at the what's this site called? Roll Funky Dice.
Oh my gosh. And again, I'm okay if you guys want to roll physical dice. You just have to remember to warm them up.
But I do think I will use the Mask of the Penance to bump it up.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so Mask of the Penance. This means everybody does it come dawn. Okay, so let me reveal that and then read it out. Give me a second.
I almost forgot about the Mask of the Penance. We're about to lose it.
Okay. All right, Mask of the Penance. Each hunter narrates a flashback of a moment they begged someone for forgiveness, only to be denied. All right, so that is your Mask of Penance. Everyone gets to do it, but Lord Campbell-Hughes will be using it to bump up his roll to a 10 plus. Okay, so 10 plus on a night move. You do what you intended and you hold steady. Describe what it looks like. All right, so tell me how you get this creature, get this gargoyle under control to finish the ritual.
Based on what Whitmore said about the crucifix, once I have him over the grave, I basically slam it. I kind of move past the serpent head, and I just slam the crucifix on its back. And while I'm trying to read this chant from the firelight, and then I guess the crucifix hits it like a cannonball and pushes it so that its legs and its tail and all that kind of stuff are kind of like trying to hold on and not go into the grave while we're doing the ritual.
And Whitmore, I imagine you're furiously trying to do your part towards this. Are you?
Yes. I've got an incenser that we've stolen from the church and will be forgiven for later. And loaded it up with the incense and swinging it wildly, attempting to force the crucifix that keeps trying to flip itself upright and chanting.
I'm going to ask you to do a night move as well with composure, please. You've got to hold steady. You've got to try and do all this, juggle all of these things to make sure that the ritual holds. And yeah, what are you afraid will happen if you fail?
That the creature's going to jump Lord Campbell-Hughes. It's not about Whitmore's safety at the moment. It's about his.
Yeah, it's worse than that. I think if you fail in any part of this ritual, then the creature will have an edge and tear Lord Campbell-Hughes in front of you apart. So, night move with composure, please. If you want to use a personal quarters item to try and help you out for advantage, I don't think you have any conditions on you.
I do. I have in the dark.
Oh. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I mean, it's going to be a disadvantage unless you can use a personal quarters item to cancel it out.
So I am singing or chanting. A common thing that happens when one plays the harpsichord is one sings along with it.
Brilliant.
I would like to mark the harpsichord.
Sure. Go ahead and
Yes.
go ahead and roll regular straight with the composure modifier.
At the risk of not rolling an 8, I'm going to roll physically.
Okay. What do you get? What?
5.
Holy crap, a doodle do. Gotta clap that. Okay. Whew. I'm going to say what is going to happen, but you have the choice of letting it roll, or you can cover it with a mask. Okay, so just so you know, like, if you run with the mist, then the creature manages to take advantage of, I guess, like, you're feeling a little overwhelmed and you have all this stuff to do, and there's just one little bit of the chant that goes wrong. Perhaps you say the words Nictu instead of necktie or something like that. Who knows? And it has an edge, and all of its eyes gleam as the serpent's head crashes down onto Lord Campbell-Hughes's shoulder and shakes him about like a rag doll and tosses him aside, getting ready to attack you.
I will be using a mask of the past.
Okay. All right. That bumps you up to complication. How do you feel?
Saying that Whitmore feels unnerved is too easy. He feels terrified's too easy as well. He feels like a boy in a church choir who realizes that his solo is coming up and the choir is just finishing its crescendo, and he's taking that step forward, realizing that literally every eye is on him. It's that moment of both trepidation and fear that I've prepared for this and I'm not ready. But I have to.
I'm going to say your condition is not ready. So that is your condition. Not ready. Okay. So before we break into the next unseen, tell me what it looks like when you keep it going. Keep the ritual going. Even in the face of your employer going head to head, toe to toe with this thing.
Whitmore would misspeak in the chant for just a moment before catching himself and not only continuing, but beginning to quite literally spit venom on this creature in the ground. You can see in the moonlight little droplets of spit kind of coming out of his mouth, maybe sticking to his mustache a little bit, but he is putting his full force and soul. And as he gets to the end and the crescendo, I think he does just take the wad of spit that's formed in his mouth and spit on the creature. And just say, and that is what happens when you mess with Lord Campbell-Hughes's house. And then right back into the chant, full on swinging the incenser.
Awesome. All right, Bob. An older woman picks through the mud. Lost in her own world, she does not seem to focus on items of monetary value. What do we see her collect?
Tiny crabs. She collects different, like, how do I say this? So it's not crabs that are big enough to eat. She is like picking up crabs, all of them just a bit too small to even worry about like tossing in a stew. And she is like, it looks like she's talking to them or like inspecting them very closely one way or another. It's kind of like almost when you see a ghost and you think you see a ghost, but you don't, and like you got to look twice, but maybe then you don't have a chance to actually look and figure out what was happening. A casual observer walking past and thinks out of the corner of their eye, is that an old lady like picking crabs out of the mud and talking to them and like trying to listen to them, or was it just an old lady like inspecting small crabs? And it's tough for them to tell, but she's collecting crabs.
Leading directly back to you, you see where Ruddy is going. He seems to be at the back of an apothecary shop. It's closed at the moment, and he lets himself inside and doesn't come out for a little bit. While you are watching the door, or at least the window set up and all this kind of stuff, there is an advert that catches your eye. It is a flyer done very ornately, like it's got the fancy lettering and such, and it's kind of got like a picture of a fellow who is like, touting this jar or this bottle of stuff. And you can see it's for Dr. Rogan's botanical elixir for men, promising to cure impotence, increase virility, and build muscle. That is your clue. Capital C clue, extra benefit for that
awesome.
13. All right. So let me go ahead and plop it into the threat.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Delete the
was a lot.
benefit here.
Yep.
Can I still bust in and try to like take some from him?
Yeah, I mean, like you can totally do that. So go ahead and, like, if you want to roll taking advantage of your wonderful vitality, I guess you're going to be obvious about this. You're not planning on being subtle at all.
Yeah, I think if there's one way that I've failed tactically, or rather Doc and I have failed, is that like maybe there's more than just Ruddy Paul in there. But I think in Doc's mind, as he's gaining Steve, it's like, you know how sometimes when people will give advice about like how to get into a place you're not supposed to be in, and mostly it's like, look like you're supposed to be there, like just walk in the door very confidently. If you can have a clipboard, all the better, but mostly it's about just walking in confidently. And I think that's literally like that's what Doc's brain is at. It's like, yeah, I'm exuding confidence, I'm in control of all situations. And they're just like, he's just like, okay, cool, I'm going to open the door, I'm going to walk very casually. As Ruddy Paul looks at me confused, I'm just going to like throw him into a big glass case of jars and vials. Is like completely throw him off of his feet, mirroring perhaps this like weird fight over whiskey we saw earlier in the unseen.
It's lovely. Okay, great. So yeah, so just run, like, run with a night move in this case, like, for vitality, with advantage, of course. What are you afraid will happen if you fail?
I hope this is not like when someone answers the question in interviews of like, what's your biggest flaw with, I just care too much. But I think that what I'm worried about is like seriously injuring Ruddy Paul. I think like, Doc's like, I'm gonna throw him, like I'm strong, it'll make me feel good, he'll be down, it'll be fine, then I get the thing and I go. But there's like a very, very real danger of just like severely wounding, if not leaving Ruddy Paul for dead by accident.
When you smash him into the cabinet, there's the very high possibility that the broken glass will be fatal in some way. So that will be what goes wrong.
Okay.
So night move with advantage, vitality,
night
please.
Move. That's an 11.
It goes up to 11. Yay. Okay. Sorry. We'll deal with that like when we come back to you. Victor. All right. So we have you facing off against Francis Oakes. They've had you like remove your sleeveless duster thing. I mean, like, it's like, come on, man. It's like, remove your top, and then like, let's wrap your hands and put the knuckle dusters on and shit. So they like, they help you both into the gear or what have you. And then like you're facing off against Francis Oakes, who looks like a really anxious looking dude. He's got like tight cotton chest bindings on his chest. Like he won't remove those. Like he took off his tattered vest, but he won't remove the bindings. And he's got like an anchor tattoo, and like he's really lean but muscular. And he seems like he's a newbie, because like some of them are kind of jeering at him, even though they're like also cheering. And he's kind of like doing the dance thing, and he's just like, I'm not weak, I'm not weak. I may be new, but I'm gonna take you out.
All right. All right. Let you know right now, bad plan. Don't talk. All right. If you're new and you're facing someone that is clearly very common experience, don't give that away. First step. After that, I'm gonna let you know right now, you're gonna go down with a blow right over here. Your right ribs, right underneath, that's where your liver is. One punch. That's it. All right. Try to do whatever you can to not get hit there. Okay.
He just looks at you and then just kind of like, I think just as the bell rings or whatever Jester does to start the fight. I mean, he's literally like coming at you with like the fist up. So night move, vitality.
Yes. I am afraid that they will be discouraged to ever come back to Fight Club after this fight.
You will or he will?
He will. I'm not afraid. Victor isn't afraid that he's going to lose this fight. He's more afraid that like, oh, I'm going to ruin this guy's fun. It's like when someone like plays board games for the first time, you're just like, I don't want to like I know I played Pandemic a million times, but I want to make sure they still have fun when we play.
Yeah, I think in his fervor to not give up, and he doesn't care if he dies, I think that he is going to place himself in a bad position that you might seriously injure him. And he will be taken out because of that injury. So, all right. So, yeah. Vitality, please. Do you have any conditions? I don't remember if you do.
I believe I had those like removed during the vulnerable scene.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're good.
Oh no. Okay. I think I'll just roll for this one.
Okay.
Ooh. Actually not good. That's gonna be 6.
So basically what happens is like, you engage in the fight and he's not holding back. I mean, he's like, trying to get at you. You're doing the dodge move and everything like that. But I think when you do punch him in the liver and like, you told him what you were going to do.
Yeah.
And he had like that opening, unfortunately for him. I don't think that you knew that he has like some sort of liver problem. So punching him in the liver did not help at all, and he goes down spitting blood, coughing up blood and stuff. So
I think no. I think when Victor, so this very like pugnacious fighter, Victor likes the kid. Like there's like potential there. Like when they're not like panicking, basically they get some good punches in. Victor kind of just like barely dodges them, but you can see that they're going okay. And eventually Victor just like, I think Victor like loses himself in the fight. He gets like too much adrenaline, and then he kind of just like there's like a step in that's quicker than most of the crowd could see. In one moment he's like a foot away, the next moment he's within the guard of the person, just twists his hip and does a strong body shot to deliver. And Victor in that split second feels bones crunch and a burst from inside the body, and this person just slumps to the ground, and Victor just goes, oh. Ugh. Mostly embarrassed for himself because he didn't mean to do that. He lost control and kind of just looks around the crowd to see how they react.
So I'm assuming you're running with your
Yeah, I'll go
miss.
with failure this time. I don't
Okay.
usually do it, but like it seems interesting, so I'll run with it.
Yeah. So at like as soon as that happens, everybody you hear this roar. Yeah. And yeah, and then Jester comes up behind you and then like raises your arm saying, "We have a winner. Yes. Take the debris away, gentlemen. Hopefully Francis will be able to come back. Seems to be a little bit down for the count at the moment, but no harm, no foul. And it is something we will not talk about outside of Bout Club. We have our winner. Congratulations. You live to fight another day or another night. And I will let you know where the next location will be tomorrow or for tomorrow. All right. And he kind of claps you on the back. Yeah, you get a clue for this since you defeated Francis in a fight. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that to you for the next segment. Let me go over to. Okay, let me go over to those at the church over at the cathedral. All right. So, I mean, you have engaged the creature and you are holding this thing down and trying to finish up the ritual and such. It is putting up a severe fight. Again, trying to hold steady. It is putting up a fight, and it is not going to go down without trying to engage you in some way. And the way it does this is, Lord Campbell-Hughes, you're right up against it. You are trying to hold it down, and it is resisting with every ounce of its very heavy, stony being. And the serpent head will kind of like maneuver and look up at you as you're holding it down and looking you directly in the eyes. And you hear a hiss from its mouth. But then its human face is starting to talk. And it says, "You would defeat me. Would you have so easy of a time if you hadn't defeated others of a similar magical persuasion?"
Lord Campbell-Hughes does not engage. He does not engage with the creature. If the crucifix is holding him back, then with my free hand, I'll grab just some of that holy water that I'd gotten from a different cathedral, and just start like splashing it on. I'm not even gonna talk with this beast.
Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I also want you to worry about doing a night move with composure. Reason being, because now the thing is trying to get into your head. So please roll night move with composure, holding steady. What do you think will go wrong? What are you afraid will happen?
That it'll like do some kind of like mind control on me, and I remove the crucifix from it.
I think it's going to be a little bit worse than that. Instead of mind control, it's going to give you something to think about that is a severe distraction from completing the ritual as you would want. Go ahead.
Yeah, not tonight, beast.
Okay.
I got a 5 and a 6+1. So
Okay.
thank you. Roll funky dice.
Nice. All right. So 12 plus. All right.
Fare thee well, Felicia.
All right. Hold on. So mastermind clue. I mean, that's the special I'm going to give you. I'll give that to you later. Tell me how you get it out of your head, like as you are holding it back, as you are hearing Whitmore do the chanting, and then waving the brazier of incense and such. How are you getting it to concede, or getting it to break apart?
I tell myself that this is just one night in many that's coming up as dark forces are aligning against London and the Queen of England, and this is just my lot in life, and I'll just throw my shoulders back, chin up, and smash on, that kind of stuff.
Nice. All right, fantastic. Whitmore.
Whitmore would like to admire Lord Campbell-Hughes with his chin up. And that would be it. That's everything Whitmore does.
Hey.
No, you were.
I think if you do anything in direct defense of your employer as you're finishing up the ritual, you will roll with advantage. So I don't know if you want to act in any way as you're finishing up the ritual. And
I think, given the fact that Whitmore's got in his hand a cross and a very hefty incenser that could be used as a club if needed, I honestly think Whitmore might get between Lord Campbell-Hughes and the crypt, and the open grave, and attempt to use both to drive the creature into the ground, essentially ensuring that the last of this beast's fury is directed at me and not at Lord Campbell-Hughes.
Okay, so last night move, yeah, this time with vitality, and you roll with advantage.
Funky dice roller, don't let me down. Lovely. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Coming back to that. All right, so last unseen. Jeremy, several bedraggled children poke a bloated corpse with sticks. Those who do not double over retching rifle through the waterlogged effects. What last traces of this person's life or death do they run off with?
Run is a very strong word for at least what one of these children does. It's more of a slow lumbering as he attempts to pull the man's necklace. Unfortunately, this man's necklace is not made of gold nor silver. It is made of rope and stone. Whoever this man was, he was not a nice man, and he was not going for a lovely swim. He took a very long walk off a very short pier, wearing a very heavy necklace. And there's just this image of this one kid trying to drag this necklace through the muck and the filth. And it gets caught on a rock. And as he gives one almighty heave, the bit of concrete at the end of this rope flies up and swings around wildly. The kid loses his balance and starts kind of swinging this block of concrete that killed this poor man. His friends stop and laugh at the scene before them.
All right, so Doc, you got an 11, I believe?
I did, yes.
Okay, great. So for the night move, you do what you intended or you hold steady. Describe what it looks like.
So I see Ruddy Paul go in. I note the advert. I think for a second and go, oh, there's some in there. I should get it. Not even thinking for a second. I walk casually and confidently across from where I'm spying. I open the door that Ruddy Paul just opened. I want to say like I see him ruffling. He's going through a cabinet, like a glass doored cabinet with like jars from, the top shelf at like 6 feet tall all the way down to the ground almost. And I just go, like, he's like very occupied, and I'm kind of like over his shoulder, and I just go, howdy. And as soon as he turns around, like, I grab him, so he's like turning around like this, right? And I put my left hand on the back of his neck like this, and then grab him by the seat of his pants and just like throw him into the cabinet, shattering all of the glass. And like the cabinet falls back down. I catch it, throw it aside, and like grab whatever bottles have survived, whatever bottles he had like put into the bag that he was loading up. And go, all right. I got like a devilish grin too. Devilish, like I'm not trying to continue to like make a bit out of it, because I know that we're supposed to come back to darkness, and I want to try to drive that point home. The flippant nature of Doc's responses is like a light switch of violence and like joy in conflict and blood, and like there's just a terrifying grin and a countenance in the light of the night.
I'm gonna say that you do grab some of these little bottles that he has. They don't have labels on them though. They are just looking like some sort of amber liquid. And this is not a capital C clue. Go ahead and add a few bottles of this unlabeled elixir into your personal quarters.
Okay.
Okay. And then back at Victor. Yeah, so people are giving you congratulations, and Jester is smiling at you through his bloodstains, and he lets you know that the next location of Bout Club is going to be held in an underground cave near the docks.
I think Victor hears that, makes mental note of it, and asks Jester, where are they taking the fighter that I fought?
Well, if he lives, I guess he can crawl back home and then get patched up for a new fight tomorrow night. If he isn't, well, maybe he ends up on the debris pile elsewhere. Don't worry about him. He's fine. He's just one of the members that accepts the consequences. We're all having fun here. We're all enjoying our virility, our power.
Victor will just push past and look for Francis, see where they took him.
Yeah, you see like two of the bigger, burlier guys drag him away. Between them, they're kind of like, like strong arming him, and like, enough that he is not like his feet aren't touching the ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's somebody in the back that looks just as bloodied as everybody else and cut up and whatever, but he seems to be like checking out Francis with a practiced hand, like doing an examination, like, checking his vitals and all this kind of stuff, or like, looking at his eyes, and just kind of gestures to the two toughs and then have them lay him out on a stretcher cot type of thing, like off to the side, and just kind of waves them away, and then like tends to him for however long it takes. So that's what you see.
Victor will step up to Francis. Are they still breathing? How critical are they?
I mean, he seems to be unconscious, and the fellow who's tending to him is like wiping away at the blood on his lips, and then actually like trying to turn him over a little bit. He looks like he's breathing, but it's quite labored.
Yeah, Victor knows what he did to this man. Can calculating in his head how long it's gonna be. Yeah, Victor will, because of his experience, he had to learn this. Will try to give us first aid so that he will make it.
And the fellow who's tending to him will accept your help. I mean, and he seems to be like some sort of, because I think back then it's like they didn't necessarily have, there was a distinction between the doctors and the physicians. The physicians would only check your humors and your bodily fluids, as opposed to the doctors and the barbers who would like worry about your bones and shit. But yeah, I mean, like, he helps you out, and it looks like, like Francis is coming too, albeit in great pain, but he smiles at you, like, even with that pained look on his face, and just kind of like gives a thumbs up. um and the other fellow who's helping tend to Francis says, the upper class gents have their clubs, why shouldn't we?
Victor just goes up to Francis, be like, I would like to apologize. I did not mean for that to happen. I lost control. That's on me. You put up a good fight.
He just kind of waves you off, saying, it's like, you never catch me giving up a fight like Bram did. I don't care if I die. I just don't think any man should die without scars, You're gonna give me a good one. It was good. It was good. This was great. Yeah. I should be back tomorrow. Yeah.
You won't be back tomorrow. Your ribs 6 and 7 are heavily fractured. Your liver has burst. There are chemicals currently going through your body. You will need medical care, not from a doctor. There's not just from any doctor. You will come to a place called Hargrave House. I will give you money. I will give you an address. You go to that address. You don't come here tomorrow night. You understand?
And he'll kind of like stagger out of the cot and just look at you like, why? Why would you care? It's for fun. I mean,
Victor will hold him by like the back of the head, kind of like pulling the hair. Like, your death is not necessary for my current job. I will take responsibility for my mistake. You don't come here tomorrow night. You go to that address. You get better. You hear.
fine. Fine. And he will reluctantly acquiesce, especially after like a murmured like assent from his companion, who again seems to be of the medical profession in some way. Yeah. So, and we'll flip over to the cathedral. So, how do you two see this end? How do you two see this grueling ritual grind to a close? Creature's still putting up a bit of a fight, being furious that it's being thwarted.
I think as a final step, we crumble the gravestone on top of him, or on top of it. Whitmore probably, given that he's gotten between Lord Campbell-Hughes and the creature, call and direct, maybe even command. That feels too strong for Whitmore as a person. Kindly ask, Lord Campbell-Hughes, would you be able to finish this? And with the free hand still fighting with the crucifix, sort of gesture towards the slowly crumbling gravestone at the head of this multi-headed beast.
Once it's smashed, and if we could go a little bit where we're shoveling dirt on this smoldering, wreckage. I Lord Campbell-Hughes turns to Whitmore, and he's not looking at Whitmore. He's looking at the cathedral, and he says, "Whitmore, this beast, it didn't come here on its own volition. Summoned here by a cult. Is that correct?"
Unfortunately, that's what it appears to be based on the nonsense and the accoutrement in the crypt below.
What stops them from doing it again?
Well, their better natures certainly won't. I suppose it will have to be us. Or perhaps a higher power. And Whitmore would then also turn to look at the church, shovel in hand, probably coat taken off so that it doesn't get dirty. He will. And gesture towards the cathedral.
Okay. Right. But let's say, like other catastrophes that he has not handled, what if I made arrangements ahead of time to go ahead and just clear out Saint Cecilia's Cathedral? Do you think that would stop the cult from summoning another beast from this once hallowed grounds?
I'll go get the torches, Whitmore would say.
Well, here's your chance to convince me not to, but I think we could tie up some loose ends.
I don't believe that whatever's done this should be allowed to continue. And I don't believe that the cathedral as a whole is the source of this infestation. Yes, we found some unsavory folk inside and dangling from the rooftops dead, but all of the work, all of the vitriol of this cult took place. And still holding the shovel, he would stab the ground twice in the catacombs, in the crypt.
Why don't you this beast, I believe, is put away. Why don't you continue this investigation on the side and see if you can locate more about this cult? We never saw them, but we saw their work. Let's stay at it, Whitmore.
Anything for you, sir?
Before we close out of night phase, did I owe somebody a clue? There was a 12 plus, but now I'm remembering that it was on a night move and not information. So it would essentially be a clue, but I'm trying to remember if there was another one that I owed one of you. Was it just the 12 plus?
I won the fight, so
Yes.
I also
Yes, you also have a clue. That's right. Okay, so I'm thinking as you are there and trying to get Francis to agree to seek help, seek your help and allow you to be responsible for him, or at least getting him back to health, or at least some modicum of health. I think you notice on a table nearby, it looks out of place there in this bloodied, sweaty, vital atmosphere. And it looks like it's a handwritten letter or some kind of missive. And once you confirm that Francis is going to agree to this, to getting help, I think you might wander over and take a look at it. And what it looks like is a love poem, unsigned, written in a masculine hand, and it's amateurish, but surprisingly tender. That is your capital C clue. And then for your 12 plus, I think you get word, Lord Campbell-Hughes. I mean, as you're, do I dare ask what the scene is as you're both leaving the cathedral?
Yeah, we're not gonna burn it. We're gonna continue the investigation.
Okay. Just making sure.
It would be Whitmore pulling out a heavy padlock from his bag and locking up the crypt so that no one else can go in.
Okay.
And the camera would then pan to the rest of the bag, which is just full of Lord Campbell-Hughes's torches and fire starters, showing what could have been.
Gotcha. Okay. Like at some point in the future between now and like day phase or dusk phase, I think you find out about a series of untimely deaths, Sir Campbell-Hughes, among dock workers. A series of untimely deaths among dock workers. All right. And so we exit night phase and we enter the dawn. Starting with dock. Okay, dawn questions. Did the hunters answer a question? Yes.
Mhm.
Did you resolve a threat? Yes.
Mhm.
The threat of St. Cecilia's gargoyle is resolved. Let me go ahead and, well, remind me, as soon as we finish dawn questions, I'm going to give you guys the rewards to look at. Okay.
Mhm.
Experience an echo in the night.
I believe so. We mirrored the fight over broken bottles and
Yes.
such that was happening in the mudlarking.
Cool. Did you stick out in London society for all the wrong reasons?
I think so, right? Like those three guys, they had me dead to rights.
And I also think it counts from let me see, from last time I believe as well, like with your conversation.
8 a.m. Coffin varnish drinking.
Yes, that would do it.
Oh, gotcha. Does
Did
that
you
count for this time?
well, yeah, because I mean, like, like it's between the last dawn phase, like, the finish of that last dawn phase into this one. So anything that meets the questions can count for the point. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Did you share a treasured memory from the States during an intimate moment with another character?
I guess during the day phases when Whitmore and I went out. So yeah, we
said
did that.
He reminded you of someone, didn't he? Didn't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I told a long story about someone I used to ride with.
Cool. Okay. Go ahead and take that point.
Very cool.
So load up your XP track and then also like do the overage and then figure out what you want to do for your advancement. Okay. Lord Campbell-Hughes, you answered a question. You resolved a threat. Did you experience an echo in the night?
Oh yeah, that's why I threw those crucifixes in the box.
Nice. Okay. Did you have a face-to-face encounter with the mastermind? I know you were trying real hard. Sorry.
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you deliver a chilling, dead-eyed monologue about the horrors of the world?
I did in the beginning of the day phase, talking with Victor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so load up your XP track, of course, record the overage and then figure out what you want to do for your advancement. All right. And Whitmore answered a question, resolved a threat. Did you experience an echo in the night? I believe you did. I thought I heard it.
I attempted both to be shirtless as the fight in the over the bottle, and the swinging of the incenser, I think, lined up well with the swinging of the hangman's necklace.
Yeah. Take it. Did you engage in petty reprisal of someone who angered your employer?
I spit on the gargoyle.
Nice. Okay. Did you demonstrate obsequious behavior toward your employer in front of others?
I believe I did, with the breaking in breaking into the kitchen, specifically in front of people who know Lord Campbell-Hughes,
Sure.
who, while Whitmore did not necessarily display an immense amount of it, it was still going out of his way.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Go ahead and take that point and then like again, load up your XP track and record the overage and then figure out what you want to do for your advancement. Okay. And Victor answered a question, resolved a threat. Did you experience an echo in the night? Pretty sure you
Yeah, the
Fight.
two young dumb boys fake a fight, much like Mr. Lord Campbell-Hughes and Whitmore did.
Oh God, yes. Did you taste someone or something else's blood, sweat, or other bodily fluids?
I did not, I don't think.
Did you tell someone why their plans were poorly made?
Yes, I told Francis that
Yes.
they shouldn't fight the next day.
And you were also like telling him like don't tell me you're new, you know, like don't talk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
take those points and go ahead and add to your XP track and figure out what you want for your advancement. All right, so let's see. Rewards. Let me go ahead and pop those into the chat. Give me a second. And while I'm working on this, I would like you all to, if you have Mask of Penance ready, fantastic. And Whitmore, you have a Mask of the Past that you owe as well. Okay. On the very bottom of the character keeper, under the threats tab, you will see a column of rewards. I'll read them out for the video. O'Donnell's Crucifix, Blessed in Holy Water. Father O'Donnell becomes a recurring side character. You get one extra clue on the information move when you attend confession with him and ask for guidance in the spiritual. A fang, claw, or other appropriate natural weapon from the gargoyle. A memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is and then add it to your personal quarters. Another memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is and then add it to your personal quarters. And Cyrus's special rule was triggered, so Cyrus can become a recurring side character. You get one extra clue on the information move when you ask Cyrus for information from his friends in the streets. Okay, so you would each take one reward.
Since I talked to Cyrus, I'll take the Cyrus reward.
Okay, and you can load that into the, I believe it's the move reference tab, and then there's the little boxes for the threat moves. So you can enter that in there as a special from the special reward.
Could I have the gargoyle claw? Is everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead and add that to your personal quarters.
Question about O'Donnell's crucifix.
Mm-hmm.
Does that become a personal item? Does it become, or personal quarters item? What's that?
It's your personal quarters. It can be a
Okay.
personal quarters item. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you want to take it?
I was questioning more what it did before deciding.
Okay.
I think Whitmore would take Father O'Donnell as a recurring side character.
Okay.
I think it fits him best.
Okay. And then that would go again under the moves reference tab under threat moves. So that would be available to everyone. Okay. Have to attend confession with him. Okay. And then yeah, Doc, what do you want for your reward?
I feel like it makes the most sense for me to ask for a memento from the investigation.
Okay.
Who
do you want to ask for?
I want to ask Paul. Paul, could you tell me what memento I'm getting from this investigation, please?
You will get, like, you won't own them, but you get Kenny as a personal quarters item.
Cool. I love Kenny.
Love it. Oh my gosh, that's
Kenny,
so nice.
comma, rapscallion.
Yes.
No, really quick. Where the threat move that you talked about that's open
Under
to
the
all of us?
moves reference tab,
Mhm.
that would be in
perfect.
there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
About that,
So many resources.
Is it limited to the number of boxes there are, or would we add more boxes if?
We can add more boxes for
Okay.
later. And I've actually squished in like more than one threat move into a box, just to
Mhm.
like save space. So yeah, like however you guys want to do it, because yeah, some threats have moves associated with them as part of the reward and such and so forth. So, but Kenny, I think, is in particular your personal quarters item, not an item. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? But
He's my buddy.
he's your buddy. Yeah. Okay. And you can use him for fictional positioning, but once you check him off for a mechanical role, that's when it, you know,
Mhm.
cannot be used again for a mechanical role until you pick that advancement to unmark all of your personal quarters items and such. Okay.
Yeah, I'm never going to be using him for a mechanical advantage then, because
Okay.
I love him too much.
Oh. Okay. So let's see. Like I said, it is 10:21. So we can either like push the masks to the beginning of next session, which is perfectly fine, or you can like buzz through them, or we go over. But I would like to make room for stars and wishes, if anything. Okay. So stars and wishes, and then we just push the masks to next time. Okay.
That probably sounds
works.
best.
Okay. All right. So again, I am owed a Mask of the Past from Whitmore, and then a Mask of Penance from everyone. So the threat is resolved. And so even though it gets crossed off on the sheet, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and again, we have Mask of Penance. Each hunter narrates a flashback of a moment they begged someone for forgiveness only to be denied. Okay. And just in recall for like the last time you asked Lord Campbell-Hughes, it's like you would do this as yourself, not as the boy. Okay. All right. So stars and wishes. Stars are things you loved about the session, gameplay, game, each other, and wishes what you'd like to see for next time. Okay.
Star right off the bat, just Mads being able to like get all three of these ongoing things happening all session long. I talked last time about how I'm kind of flashing back to my rewatch of Penny Dreadful, and this was another one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, I'm like literally just watching this on a TV in my mind, right behind my eyeballs. Like I can see Doc going through the streets as then we're cutting to like Victor, telling, not trash talking, but like telling this person. That's another star for you, Paul. Great dialogue there, and then cutting into the conflict at the graveyard. All of that was incredible, and way to balance it and bounce around. I loved the scene with Lord James Campbell-Hughes and Whitmore. That whole, again, to see you two just like be in a very dangerous situation with one another, which is supposed to be implied that's a thing y'all have done before. Whether or not it's supposed to be implied, that's what it felt like. There was so much weight to it, and history tied in, and danger and intrigue, and I was worried listening to it. It was all super stupendous. Also, I can't not give another star to making the backup plan always firebombing. That's great. I love that personally. As far as wishes, I guess now I'm just hungry for like a all of us together in a scene moment, and beginning to explore a bit more of our personal connections, maybe in a way that like has us butting heads would be interesting. Also, I want to meet Cobweb again.
As far as stars go, Paul, the way that you described that all of the the internal workings of the punch you were about to deliver, and then delivering that punch and having that "I told you so" moment just really clicked. And then the fact that you immediately regretted it was a great bouncing back, showing some of Victor's character there. Bob, I have absolutely no idea how your first thought of, oh, I'm going to go mug him is, oh yeah, let's pick him up and throw this kid into a cabinet. That never would have crossed my mind. And I think that is a brilliant Doc move. Daniel, thank you for joining me in the graveyard at night to actually vanquish this foe. And Mad, seeing that you came in with everything closed and a cheese sandwich in a bowl to this particular session, I wish my own prep times were, or my own setup times were that quick. Like that was a speedy setup that you had there at the start, and that was mesmerizing to see come to fruition. As far as wishes, less conditions, please and thank you. No. I would definitely like to see a little bit more of the explorer's mastermind of all things. We for the first 2 sessions, we definitely got some drip feed of what's going on there, and it was just absent in this session. And pacing wise, it was beautiful, but man, do I want more.
For me, star to Jeremy and Daniel. And we've only had 3 sessions together, but that like back and forth you had at the graveyard was like the amount of chemistry that was so well done. Like it's like when you watch theater and a conversation sounds like a sing-songy sort of like rhythm to it. It was very good. Star. It was good to see Doc like finally get like a lot of action tonight, and I liked how clumsy it felt. Very much just like, yeah, I'm pumped. Let's do whatever. What do I need to do? This thing, yes. Come on, let's go. Yeah, it's like it was very fun to see like Doc really like let loose out there. It's really good. Star to Mads for like finding some really good, because it's really tough to like cut off scenes because you don't want your friends to stop having fun, but finding those moments to like cut to go to the next thing was really it was very well done. It was very like the scenes were very punchy, and it was really good whenever they were cut. And wishes for next time, I believe since we resolved the threat, my hunt will go up. And yeah, it's like I know those are kind of like the undeniables thing, where if there's like very significant things that happen in this story, my hunt will go up. So yeah, just like more. Just, like,
you get an X for, I believe, like, you know, in this case, you get an X for the resolution of this particular threat. More violent than it is peaceful. So yeah, definitely take an X.
For sure. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next threat, because that's always fun. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
And I'm also going to ask how you feel about how you dealt with the fight at Bout Club.
Definitely Victor felt like a loss of control. There was the main thing he reacted to. He's still like not like, it's not the good, like it's not like the automatic good person things like, oh no, I almost killed someone. It's more just like, I failed in my training in that moment. I put too much strength is what the feeling was.
Definitely take an X for the hunt as well for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
My stars and wishes, going last, I would add a star for Paul with the diagnosis about the broken ribs and all that. I do think a star for Doc and Victor is there. It seems like their night phase was directed by Guy Ritchie. Like that was like I don't know who directed Whitmore and Lord James's, but it was definitely had a Guy Ritchie feel to it. What was the name of the Sherlock Holmes movie that Guy Ritchie?
Yeah.
I mean, I was totally thinking the Sherlock Holmes movies when they were both doing their scenes.
Especially Victor, like, literally diagnosing the fight. It's just like that fight scene he has in the bare knuckle boxing ring.
Absolutely.
Robert Downey Jr. was playing. I do a star for Mads because I really like your side characters. And last time my favorite side character was Cobwebs, and this time is Jester. This is my favorite. I was thinking I like this Brick. I like how she's doing Brick, but then Jester, like Brick didn't turn out to pan out. And then star for Jeremy for going into the REC, which seems like it's like that's just for the explorer. Like not for you, Factotum. And I like that Jeremy that went there, because I don't think I've ever seen another player go to the REC except for the Explorer. So big star there. In wishes, I'm with Paul. I'm excited about the next threat, and I'm also same wish with Jeremy. I'll keep on the hunt for the mastermind, and we'll see if we can get her next time.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with all of the stars, but I definitely want to give a particular star to Jeremy for that description, the paint the scene for the unseen, which was the partially butchered hog, and how you close that, which was, it's like London takes just enough and then leaves the rest to rot. I mean, it was so beautiful and poetic and perfect. Oh my gosh, that was great. And then each of you, like with your, I mean, the fact that Victor took responsibility for this dude that, like, you know, he hit too hard. Holy crap. That was an amazing like angle to your story. And I look forward to seeing more of that, because the legacy can be very complex, a very complex part to play. You know, it's not just about being, you know, the hunter and just, you know, beating the shit out of things. There's a lot of layers there, whether anybody decides to see it or not. I'm sorry if I kind of led you on a merry chase there, Daniel, with like for your explorer, because I knew you were looking for the mastermind, but I mean, I didn't want to give you the mastermind necessarily. So, you know, kudos for dealing with what you got.
We can always throw her a party, and I think she has to come to it.
Yeah, could. We'll see. And oh, Bob, I mean, I love Doc. Doc is just so, again, as I put in the chat, it's like he's such a big friendly Labrador. It's like he just gets into things, and it's like, and he's just so like blundering, but then it still works, and it's like he's so vital. And I mean, it's just, I love all your characters. Everybody has such great characters in this particular campaign, and I can't wait to see more of y'all. We're gonna have some fun masks, I imagine, for next time, so I'm looking forward to those. I wish that I had remembered to give everybody like at least one condition and not load them onto Whitmore. Holy shit, I'm so sorry. But that doesn't stop anybody from doing vulnerable moves with each other, like, you know. Again, it just requires somebody engaging in their vice, one other hunter joining them for it, and then, you know, enacting that move. And if you need to, for day phase, it's like, please take advantage of if somebody else besides Lord Campbell-Hughes wants to do a vulnerable move with you, Whitmore. Okay. Yeah. So that's a wrap for tonight, and I thank you all for letting me go a little bit over. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add?
One out of game question. Sure. About character development.
Oh yeah.
Since this is actually the first time I've had a character hit an advancement in one of these,
okay.
I was curious as to just people's thoughts on increasing an ability modifier versus gaining an additional move. Just mechanically pros and cons versus each.
I will
not so much to
which one?
Just what are your thoughts on doing one versus the other, not which is better?
What I usually suggest is look towards it's like long range thinking, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, first you think about like, okay, what move would next serve your best story for your character? Like, what story do you want to tell? and then look at like what that move requires. Like if it requires like a high presence score, you damn well better be like jumping up your modifier in presence if you
Oh,
need
yes.
it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it kind of feeds into each other.
Mhm.
So
That is the thing, though. A lot of the Factotum's moves, with one exception, don't require rolls of any kind. So,
I have an order of operations. I can break it down for you. Just my decision may change before next session, but as of right now, I think I know where I'm at. And I started off going for a new move that gives me a gun that I can always use to get advantage whenever I'm using it, and I don't have to check it until I use it to re-roll dice. And you know, cowboy gun. I've been kind of wondering, like, because I don't have a gun on my sheet, do I have one? It'd be nice to just have the special one. And then I realized I was going to take that because I wanted to move into doing more like rough and tumble stuff. Boy, howdy, do I wish I had taken that question. Did you solve a problem with violence for this session? Because the answer would have been yes. And so then that made me go like, you know what? I didn't have any trouble doing violence real well as long as I was able to kind of get that benefit on the quickening roll. Okay, well, dang, what makes sense then for like what Doc has been up to recently? What can I lean into for what his character development is? And so that's what had me flip it from move to increasing my sensitivity, which will both, you know, help me mechanically, but also kind of matches maybe what this dip into dealing with and dancing with the curse means to Doc.
oh, and then again, just make sure that you all clear your questions and then pick new questions if you so desire for next time, before next time. Okay.
My thing is always like I always pick the moves I feel like will be fun to use during the sessions. But also I like to save the ability score increases when I haven't really thought about which moves I want, and it's like I need to pick an advancement real quick. So I will just pick an ability score improvement when I just panic and just need one real quick.
Yeah, I'm with Paul. Like the when you have a variety of moves, just like Matt said, like how do you want your character to how do you want to build this character? And I think of like combo moves. So, but yeah, if the stat gets you there, if the stat can help get you there, because like a presence 3 is like awesome, or a reason 3 is awesome. If you can get up to like +3, that's your character is really golden in one area. I'm gonna go with adding more to the I don't have moves, so I'm gonna go with unlocking more blocks in the REC, because I can, like, when I start working the REC, they're pretty powerful. So that's the way I'm going with the
okay.
And you cleared the one box for resolving the threat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great.
So he's ready to roll.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that helps you any figuring it out, but you have a week, you know, to
2
or
weeks.
2 weeks
Yep.
to figure out what you want to do next. I mean, like, you know, again, it's just sometimes it's better to add that modifier ahead of time, and sometimes it's just enough to pick a move and then see how far it gets you for before the next advancement. Yeah. Okay. So that's all. My goodness, the wonderful session today, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one. All righty. Have a great night. Bye, guys.